Hi, and welcome to part two of my review of Witch N Wiz, the final product. Of course, if you saw part one, there will be probably a little thing popping up right about now to let you do that if you haven't seen part one yet. This is part two. Now, this is more of a nice little interview I got to do with the developer on this. I had interviewed him last time with the first version, which was the NES development competition version, but I forgot to record the audio, so I did give him a little bit of who he is, and if you saw that, it'll have that coming up right about now in the very first review of Witch N Wiz, which was the NASDAQ version. This is the final version, so without further ado, let's get into the interview, and I'll pop back in at the end of my review of Witch and Wiz, the interview part. I am here with Matt Hughson, the developer.
Hello.
So, we had done this interview once before, but I had some technical issues, so we're trying to do it again.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So, um, first off, you just released the final version of Witch and Wiz on November 12th.
Yep.
Hello?
Hello.
All right. You just released the final version on November 12th, and I think you got it in three different releases. You've got one, I think, was limited release games. One for free to play. I think that's in browser on PyPacker, and then you've got I think what is it, a digital release as well.
Yeah, you pretty much got it. It's physical limited edition on limited run games. As you said, a in-browser version that's totally free. You can play the whole game on pypacker.com, and then a digital collection on itch.io. And all three are linked to at witchandwiz.com.
I'll have that link down in the description. Um, so I do have some questions to ask. Okay. And then anyway, question number one. Um, was coming in second place in the NES competition a factor that helped you decide to finish the rest of the game and polish it to what it is today?
Yeah, so prior to the NestDev competition, I already planned to release it. The NestDev competition was more of just a milestone along the way to give me a chance to share a bit of what I'm working on with people, dip my toe in the water a bit. Uh, yeah, get a bit of promotion out of the competition and stuff like that. So it was never a question of needing to do well in the competition to keep working on the game. As I said before, like maybe if it totally bombed, I would have um, second second guessed the idea of continuing development. But no, it was more just a step along the way for me. It was quite draining on me when I came out of the competition. It took me a few months to kind of get back into the swing of things, really to really get back in full speed development on the final game because it was basically like finaling a game for the Nest Dev competition, so that was quite a bit of work. But yeah.
All right, and then knowing the limitations you had to overcome with creating a game that one would fit on an NES cart and two allow for well over 100 levels of gameplay, what was the hardest hurdle to overcome?
So yeah, the the memory, the size of the cart, that kind of thing wasn't too bad. I was coming from my previous project From Below, which was an NROM game. So in that case, I only had about 40 kilobytes, or exactly 40 kilobytes to work with, whereas Witch and Wiz is 256 kilobytes, so quite a bit larger, quite a bit more memory to work with. I also added some RAM to the cartridge, which made things a lot easier as well. So that side of things wasn't too bad. I think the hardest part is performance on the NES, um, avoiding flicker, things like that, making sure all of your computations fit within a single frame so that it runs at a steady 60 frames a second. That's what I spent a lot. Or I would say that was the most challenging part of it outside of kind of getting things up and running initially.
All right, and my third question is, how did beta testing the final product help out in this round?
It helped immensely. Found tons of bugs that would have, yeah, game breaking bugs. Even right up to the last beta, people were the like last build of the beta. People were still finding issues that, yeah, seem kind of crazy to think that they were still in there. People jumping out of levels, stuff like that. So yeah, it was a huge help. And especially like I play the game so much that I kind of just have a pattern that I do every single time, and I often don't test all the different paths that you can take in the game: quitting, saving, solving the puzzle different ways. So it's really good to get a second set of eyes on things. And it's also really nice just to have some people who are familiar with the game, can bounce ideas off of, can suggest ideas. Yeah, it's been amazing. I've been really blessed with extremely active beta testers, so I'm really happy about that.
And my last question is, comparing both the NASDAQ version and the final version, which was the one you enjoyed creating the most?
I'd say the Nestev version was more fun because it was a shorter development period, about 3 months, and it was kind of just wall to wall getting stuff done every day. There was lots of progress. There wasn't a lot of time for messing around, so it was quite enjoyable to work on, and then to get it out, get to see all the other games, feel part of that community, the judging, be part of the judging, and then also do quite well. We got second place in the competition, which I was super happy with. So that was quite a fun, condensed experience. Whereas the full version, although I'm much more proud of the final result, was a lot more work and over a year of working on that. So yeah, it just gets tough sometimes to push through and finish something like that. It's more of a job than just kind of for fun at that point.
Yeah, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all the questions I have. Um, Again, I'll have all the links down below in the description where you could buy any of the releases of the game, and the PyPacker link as well, where you could just play it in browser for free. Again, I am Paul, and I have been interviewing Matt Hughson on his game Witch N Wiz.
Thanks so much, Paul. I appreciate it.
No problem. Well, now it's time for my final thoughts. First off, this is a game that I will always keep in my collection, as it is a treasure to see such an awesome homebrew game for the NES itself, and one with an awesome soundtrack and gameplay and graphics as well. Secondly, this is the one game that I would recommend any lover of retro games to play. It has the feel of games like it, such as Cat Rap, and it also has the replay value that I love. And finally, this version of Witch N Wiz is an awesome puzzle platformer. I can tell that he put a lot of hard work and love into it. And with that, I'm going to say, I am Paul, peace out, and stay frosty, and I hope you enjoyed the interview. As a closing credits roll, I'd like to thank my loyal Patreons. And if you wish to donate to Patreon, there will be links down in the description down below as always, along with a link to my merch shop as always as well, if you wish to support the channel in any way. Again, just a reminder, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, don't forget to hit that notification bell, and please leave me a big thumbs up and a comment down below. Again, I'm Paul saying peace out, stay frosty.